hot mess that they air in the mornings, called The View, had to issue not one, not two.
The morning talk show The View has found itself at the center of a media storm, issuing not one, not two, but 4 legal corrections in a single week. This unprecedented series of retractions, with only 3 captured on camera, has sparked a fierce debate about the show's credibility and its role in shaping public discourse. The controversy doesn't end there. During a recent presidential debate, the show's hosts were accused of selectively fact-checking one side, only to retreat when their own corrections were scrutinized. This pattern of behavior has drawn sharp criticism from media heavyweights Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, who have publicly dismantled the show's approach in a verbal showdown that has the internet buzzing. Their critique extends beyond The View to broader issues of media bias, political polarization, and the dangers of oversimplified narratives. Adding fuel to the fire, a controversial remark about the red Make America Great Again hat, likening it to a swastika, has further inflamed tensions, raising questions about the show's rhetoric and its impact on an already divided nation. The saga began with the legal corrections, a rare and embarrassing misstep for a show that prides itself on being a platform for informed discussion. These retractions, described as legal notes, were issued to address inaccurate statements made on air. One correction clarified that both Donald Trump and Pam Bondi have denied allegations of a quid pro quo, while another emphasized that a certain individual has long denied allegations and has not been charged with any crime. The specifics of the 4th correction remain unclear, as it was not recorded on camera, but the sheer volume of retractions in such a short period has raised eyebrows. Critics argue that these errors reflect a deeper issue, a tendency to prioritize sensationalism over accuracy. The hosts, known for their outspoken opinions, often dive into contentious topics like politics, race, and justice. But their approach can sometimes veer into oversimplification or outright misstatement, as evidenced by the need for these corrections. The debate controversy only deepened the scrutiny. During a recent presidential debate, the hosts of The View were accused of fact-checking one candidate more aggressively than the other, a move that sparked accusations of bias. When their fact-checking was itself challenged, the show reportedly backed down, a retreat that critics like Maher and Kelly seized upon as evidence of intellectual cowardice. This incident, combined with the legal corrections, paints a picture of a show struggling to maintain credibility in an era where trust in media is already fragile. The pattern, as Maher and Kelly argue, is one of selective outrage and a failure to engage with opposing views in good faith. Enter Bill Maher and Megyn Kelly, 2 media titans who have taken The View to task in a clash described as a verbal beatdown. Maher, the acerbic host of Real Time with Bill Maher, is known for his willingness to challenge both sides of the political spectrum. With a career built on sharp wit and a refusal to bow to political correctness, Maher has little patience for what he sees as shallow, recycled talking points. Kelly, a former Fox News anchor and now an independent journalist, brings a lawyer's precision to her arguments, cutting through rhetoric with cold, hard facts. Together, they form a formidable duo, and their takedown of The View was nothing short of relentless. Maher struck first, targeting Joy Behar, one of the show's longest-serving hosts. Behar, known for her liberal leanings and quick quips, has built a career on delivering hot takes that resonate with the show's audience. But Maher called her out for what he sees as intellectual laziness, accusing her of serving up predictable opinions that lack depth or originality. He likened her commentary to a tired playlist stuck on repeat, arguing that her reliance on oversimplified narratives does a disservice to viewers. Behar's tendency to chuckle nervously when challenged, Maher suggested, betrays a lack of confidence in her own arguments, a weakness that undermines the show's claim to authority. Next, Maher turned his sights on Whoopi Goldberg, the show's de facto leader and self-styled voice of reason. Goldberg often positions herself as a wise, experienced figure, but Maher was unimpressed. He accused her of peddling outdated or off-base ideas while cloaking them in an air of authority. In one particularly biting moment, Maher mocked Goldberg's habit of prefacing her remarks with, "Well, actually," only to follow with what he described as half-baked nonsense. He argued that her commentary, far from being thoughtful, often echoes mainstream media talking points without adding anything new to the conversation. For Maher, Goldberg's reliance on her persona as a cultural elder masks a failure to engage with the complexities of the issues she discusses. Megyn Kelly, meanwhile, brought a different kind of energy to the fight, where Maher used sarcasm and humor to land his punches. Kelly wielded logic and precision, dissecting the host's arguments with surgical accuracy. Her first target was Sunny Hostin, a former prosecutor who often tackles issues of race and justice on the show. Hostin, known for her passionate delivery, has a tendency to lean on self-righteous rhetoric, but Kelly was quick to expose the weaknesses in her arguments. Drawing on her own background as a lawyer and journalist, Kelly challenged Hostin's claims, pointing out factual inaccuracies and logical inconsistencies. Hostin, caught off guard, struggled to respond, her usual confidence giving way to defensiveness as Kelly dismantled her points one by one. Kelly didn't stop there. She also took aim at Ana Navarro, a political commentator known for her outspoken critiques of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Navarro often presents herself as a principled voice for moderation, but Kelly accused her of hypocrisy, arguing that her track record reveals a pattern of political opportunism. Kelly pointed to Navarro's shifting stances on various issues, suggesting that her rhetoric is driven more by convenience than conviction. The critique was particularly stinging, given Navarro's tendency to lecture others on political correctness, a habit that Kelly exposed as inconsistent with her own behavior. The clash reached its peak when Kelly turned her attention back to Goldberg, this time focusing on her stance on free speech and cancel culture. Goldberg has often defended the right to call out problematic behavior, but Kelly argued that her approach is selective and inconsistent with the principles of the First Amendment. Drawing on her legal expertise, Kelly grilled Goldberg on her apparent disregard for the complexities of free speech, accusing her of endorsing a form of censorship that stifles dissent. The exchange left Goldberg visibly flustered, her usual composure shaken by Kelly's relentless questioning. The combined assault from Maher and Kelly was more than just a critique of individual hosts. It was a broader indictment of The View as a cultural institution. The show, which bills itself as a platform for diverse perspectives, was exposed as an echo chamber, a place where a single worldview dominates and dissenting opinions are dismissed or ignored. Maher, in particular, took issue with the show's title, arguing that it implies a singular view rather than a genuine exchange of ideas. The problem in America, he said, is that there is one view, true opinion, and everybody else can go, sit in the corner. For Maher, this lack of intellectual diversity is a symptom of a larger cultural malaise, one that prioritizes conformity over critical thinking. The controversy over the Make America Great Again hat added another layer to the debate. During a heated exchange, one of the hosts reportedly suggested that wearing the red MAGA hat was akin to displaying a swastika, a comparison that drew immediate backlash. Critics, including Maher, argued that the remark was not only inflammatory, but also emblematic of the show's tendency to demonize those who hold differing views. Maher, who has been vocal about his dislike for Donald Trump, was quick to distance himself from the comment, emphasizing that hating Trump does not justify hating his supporters. "You can't hate everybody who likes him," he said. "It's half the country. I don't want to live in a country where I hate half the country." The remark underscored a key point in Maher and Kelly's critique, that The View contributes to the polarization it claims to combat by framing political differences in moral absolutes. The fallout from the clash has been seismic, with social media ablaze with reactions to Maher and Kelly's takedown. For many, the confrontation was a refreshing antidote to the sanitized, politically correct discourse that dominates mainstream media. Others, however, defended The View, arguing that its hosts are unfairly targeted for expressing their opinions. Regardless of where one stands, the showdown has sparked a broader conversation about the state of political discourse in America. Are shows like The View educating the public, or are they merely amplifying division? Can mainstream media rise above its biases to foster genuine dialogue, or is it too entrenched in its echo chambers? Maher and Kelly's critique goes beyond The View to address these larger questions. Their approach, combining wit, facts, and a willingness to challenge sacred cows, stands in stark contrast to the show's formulaic talking points. While The View often leans on buzzwords and moral posturing, Maher and Kelly push for a deeper, more nuanced engagement with the issues. Their takedown was not just a victory in a media skirmish, it was a call to rethink how we talk about politics and culture in an increasingly polarized world.